Marvel Rivals has taken the world by storm, knocking the last breath out of Paladins and draining Overwatch's player base seemingly overnight. And there's good reason for this. This game is doing things right for the hero shooter genre, and it's doing things different for the hero shooter genre. In the same way Overwatch first pushed this genre forward so many years ago, Marvel Rivals has pushed it further once again. To start with, Marvel Rivals got two of the most important things it could have right, making all the heroes feel like they're characters from the Marvel Universe, and making everyone feel powerful. Every character plays pretty much how you'd expect them to, in a good way and not in a bad way. For instance, Wolverine is a fast, high damage dealing character, who's actually pretty vulnerable unless you use his move that regenerates your health when you take damage. Now obviously the regenerating health move, you can already see how that links to Wolverine's character, but him being vulnerable you might feel weird about. That doesn't necessarily sound like Wolverine. But really it helps making play him feel more like the character, because it means you have to play like a predator, stalking your prey and then pouncing, unleashing your fury on your enemy. Thor is a powerhouse. You can throw your hammer for a ranged attack and also use your hammer to pull you forward, giving you a speed boost or pushing your enemies towards your allies or away from their healer. On top of this, you can empower yourself with the Thor Force, buffing your health and allowing you to shoot lightning and deal more damage. Invisible Woman can make shields and turn herself and others invisible, as you might imagine. Venom is one of the fastest and most agile tank characters, playing like a much more tanky version of Spider-Man, playing more aggressively than the other tanks, but also being more vulnerable than other tanks. You can web swing and wall crawl, adding to your mobility and making a fine trade-off for the vulnerability. Even the ones that seem weird at first, like Doctor Strange as a tank or Rocket as a healer, once you understand their kit, you realize that even though they're in these categories that might seem a little strange, they play exactly how you'd want them to. Strange has magical ranged attacks, his iconic runic shield, and can open a portal which you can do all kinds of things with. Rocket uses technology to support the team and has a pretty good weapon himself. You can set down a thing that heals and revives enemies, you can heal people of course, you have a nice little jetpack, and Rocket can crawl on walls like the little rodent he is. The 6-person teams in Marvel Rivals, this is what you're going to be playing with, is 6-on-6. These are perfect, allowing for all kinds of different team compositions, at least on lower ranks. You could have a completely balanced team of 2 tanks, 2 damage, 2 healers. You could have 2 tanks, 1 damage, and 3 healers. You could have 1 tank, 4 damage, 1 healers. All of these different styles, at least in the lower ranks, will get you to win, or if your team is playing well and if the composition is well done. It just allows you to have a lot of different teams, making each round feel more varied and allowing you to switch up your play style. The variety of abilities and play styles within each role is great, without making characters seem like they don't fit the role. For instance, Hulk is fast and can deal a lot of damage, but still very much a tank. Bucky has the most health of any damage dealer, and this tankiness gives him a sort of bodyguard role. But he's still primarily going to be dealing damage to the enemies. He can just hold his own for a bit longer, and this helps him as a more melee-focused character. The map design in Marvel Rivals is tight. It offers tons of different strategies of how to fight and where to position. These aren't just 3-lane maps in any way, shape, or form. The map destruction and map interactions are also welcome additions. Buildings getting demolished by these heroes duking it out make you feel way more powerful, and make the fight feel way more epic. Destroying walls or doors can open up alternative routes, changing how it's played. You also have lots of different maps that each have slightly different objectives on them. The different game modes are focused to different maps, providing the most balance you could get with that game mode and that map. Some heroes give each other extra powers by being on the same team, such as Magneto getting an extra attack when Scarlet Witch is in his team, or the Fantastic Four all getting a shield ability when in a team with the Invisible Woman. The best kind of team-up abilities, though, are the ones that make you feel more like a team-up. Rocket can ride on Groot's shoulder, providing healing and covering fire. The Hulk can throw Wolverine at enemies, which is fantastic against flying enemies. Hela will revive Thor or Loki if she's killed someone within a short time of them dying. Team-up abilities are the cherry on top, providing tons of awesome things that you can get depending on team composition and adding another factor into the decision of who to play every single time. Lastly, in Marvel Rivals, instead of feeling like a fight between the competitive players and the non-competitive players to get what they want, it feels like this game is really set up so everyone sort of wants the same thing. The game has a near perfect blend of what's good for competitive players and what's good for the casual audience. The developer has talked about how they want to balance the game by making every character overpowered, which I think most people can sort of support that idea. It's just got the perfect amount of order and chaos, and this balance and the balls to make these very powerful characters is what sets Marvel Rivals apart. And if they keep this design philosophy, it's what will keep them on top.